I'm telling you, I don't know what I did to piss off the baseball gods, but it must have been something good because for the fifth time in 8 days, a so-called closer blew a game in the ninth inning or later that cost me a best bet. I mean, that is just phenomenal. I mean, statistically, that's hard to beat. 5 times in 8 days, I think I got to hire an exorcist to get rid of the demons that have possessed me here. But yesterday, I had a 15-time play on the Chicago White Sox. I told you I didn't feel comfortable or confident enough to play the White Sox on the run line, and instead, I was willing to go ahead and take them at my max bet, which is 160, and play them straight up at home against the Detroit Tigers, a team that they had owned, winning 12 of the last 16 in the series with Edwin Jackson on the hill. He had owned his former teammates during his career, just beat him 2 starts ago in his Chicago debut. Jackson pitched magnificently. White Sox winning 2-1 in the top of the ninth inning against the Detroit team, as you know, in a big-time slump and unable to win on the road. Third worst road record in Major League Baseball. What happens? J.J. Putz comes in, the temporary closer for Chicago with Bobby Jenks out, and he serves up a 2-run homer to a guy batting .210. Game, set, match. Tigers win 3-2, and it kills me on the day. Just kills me. It's like Tom Hanks said in that movie, A League of Their Own. There ain't no crying in baseball, but still, it does want to bring a little tear to your eye. 5 times in 8 days? That's phenomenal. On the bright side, told you I was going to catch Paul McCartney at the Wachovia Center in Philadelphia last night. Great concert. When you pay that much money to go to a concert like that, the one thing I always look for is, is he going to be in good voice? And let me tell you, he was an outstanding voice last night. Better than when I saw him in 2005. Played for 3 hours. 2 encores, 36 total songs, a couple amusing anecdotes, which I really like. When you go to a concert of his, he's got so much stories. You really, you're watching history perform in front of you. That's the bottom line. At the end of one song, he broke into a riff and played a couple of minutes of Foxy Lady, showing off his guitar skills. And people don't realize how good of a guitarist Paul is. It's not just as a lyricist, not just as a songwriter, a hell of a guitar player as well. So he's playing some Foxy later, and he finishes that up, and afterwards he talks about Jimi Hendrix, says what a personable guy he was and what a friendly guy he was, got to know him, and he said back in the day, in the 60s, they used to release records on Fridays, not like today where everybody releases them on Tuesdays, but on Fridays, and he said they released Sgt. Pepper's on Friday. He goes to a concert 2 days later on a Sunday, and there is Hendrix playing everything in his concert from Sgt. Pepper's. And he said it just blew him away of how he was able to do that in such a short period of time. Then he had another little interesting story. Never knew this. Blackbird, the beautifully crafted song that he wrote, the nice little ballad. He actually wrote that in response to all the civil unrest that was going on in the South in the 60s with the demonstrations and stuff, and that was his little peace offering that he wrote when he was in England, hoping that it would have some effect in America. I had no idea that's what the song was about. But anyway, great concert, and as I said, 36 songs in 3 hours, no break, no intermission, no opening act, just Paul McCartney, beginning to end. If it wasn't for J.J. Putz, it would have been a great day. Let's get to your free pick in just a moment, but first let's talk about preseason football. Broke down all the games for you. I told you the Pittsburgh Steelers, I thought, were a great play yesterday. Hell, I should have bet them. Preseason play, regular season play, postseason play. A year ago, that crystal ball, if you could pick up the straight-up winners, you were able to cover the games in an 82% clip, because last year's straight-up winners went 265, 58, and 9 against the spread. Well, guys, this year, nothing different. So far, the straight-up winners in preseason play are 11-3. That runs their 2-year record in preseason play to an amazing 67-6-4. 67-6-4 the past 2 years. So far, by the way, this year in preseason play, the underdogs 7-7 after 14 games. The home favorites 6-6. Now, you've got a couple of games today. The early game is going to be San Francisco taking on Indianapolis. 3.5 point margin in that one. Alex Smith only going to see a couple of series probably at most, like most of the San Francisco starters. David Carr Remember, David Carr, who hasn't really played much the last couple of years, as a backup, served in New York, backing up Eli Manning the past couple of years. He has had a very strong training camp. He's going to be the second guy off the bench for the 49ers today. Nate Davis, so strong last year as a rookie for the 49ers in preseason, has struggled so far this year in camp, but he'll see the bulk of the cleanup action. As for Indianapolis, well, you know the deal there. Peyton and company, they're not going to play too much today, so most of your money is going to be on Curtis Painter. That's a scary proposition, huh? A lot of injury problems for the Colts. Number of starters out, including their starting center, Jeff Saturday, who's going to be out till the regular season starts, if not longer. Starting offensive tackle, Charles Johnson. Let's see, who else is going to be out here for today for him? Wide receiver, Pierre Garçon's going to be out. Dallas Clark, the starting tight end, is going to be out. Number of guys are questionable to doubtful on their injury list, including Dwight Feeney and Bob Sanders and Anthony Gonzalez, the wide receiver, trying to come back from a knee injury. I got to be honest, I have no idea. This game, I don't really have a feel for either one of the preseason games here, but I at least wanted to pass on the information for you. The other game is Cincinnati and, you know what? San Francisco and Indianapolis. Anthony Redd, 75 dime play, his fourth ever in his career in the NFL. His third ever 75 dime play yesterday was the San Diego Chargers, -2.5. Who did they beat? Chicago Bears, 25-10. So there's somebody, if you're looking for somebody who has a monster play on this game, A-Red might be the guy to look to. Cincinnati and Denver. This is a rematch of last year's regular season opening game. Remember that one? Broncos won it 12-7 when Brandon Stokely took a tip pass and ran 87 yards for the game-winning touchdown with like 13 seconds to play. Broncos have just been decimated by injuries so far in the preseason, especially at the running back position where Marino and Buckholder are both out. Lance Bell, fourth stringer, is going to see the bulk of the action at running back, plus Justin Fargas, who was just recently acquired from the Oakland Raiders. The quarterback rotation is going to be Kyle Orton, Brady Quinn. Tim Tebow is probably going to play the fourth quarter. May see some action earlier, maybe in the Wildcat package. It all depends. Remember last year, Kyle Orton's preseason debut, first 3 possessions, 3 interceptions. Hopefully he'll have a better game there. Cincinnati, of course, upset in the Hall of Fame game, but they do have a game under their belts. But in that game, the second-string offense was just pathetic as J.T. O'Sullivan and Jordan Palmer, well, they combined for 4 turnovers, 2 interceptions by Palmer, led to 10 Cowboys points in that 16-10 upset. So, again, another lousy game. I have no clue who's going to win that one. I wouldn't touch either one of them. As for my free pick in baseball, I'm going to go with the Atlanta Braves. Deadly at home at Turner Field this season. Their pitcher, Jurgens, today, what I really liked about him, he hasn't really pitched well on the road all season, but in his last start at Houston, a no decision, but a very strong outing. 7 1/3 innings of 6-hit, 2-run ball. Only one of those runs was earned. He is 4-0 in 6 home starts, all of them Braves victories, with a 1.91 earned run average. In 12 consecutive starts, he's allowed 3 runs or less. He's 4-1 with a 3.14 earned run average after coming off the disabled list where he was for 2 months because of a hamstring pull. Vicente Padilla, last 2 road starts, he's only worked a total of 9 innings, giving up 6 earned runs. Listen, his earned run average on the road in 8 road starts this season, 5.14. Compared to 6 home starts, where it's 1.61, yeah, Vicente struggled on the road a bit. Dodgers, of course, on the road since the All-Star break, 3-12. So again, I would take the Braves minus $1.40 at home as your free pick. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch you again on Monday.